like to do a side story about my sisters Gail and Diann and what happened in their life between ages 14 to 20 in each of their cases. My first part of my offering, athletics, was such a big part of my dreams, and then those athletic dreams just lost their drive in the midst of life for me. Obviously I was not going to be a professional athlete, so I continued to love athletics, but the dreams were turning elsewhere, and I wasn't sure where they were turning really. But my sisters, Gail and Diann, on the other hand, stuck with synchronized swimming. And so here is the side story of what they did with their life at the tender ages of 14 through 20. So while I was in middle school and high school and just doing my best to develop my ego and survive, Gail and Diann were doing something quite exceptional that was so underneath the radar that really hardly anyone knew much about it. But they joined the Washington Athletic Synchronized Swimming team when I believe they were probably 13 and 14 years old. Seattle had never had anything to do with winning anything. But Charlotte Jennings and Gail and Diann practiced and became very good swimmers and brought forward that team into the national forefront in a surprising manner. Gail and Diann were partners and won the regional championships of synchronized swimming. They were probably 15 and 16. And then Charlotte Jennings and Diann teamed up to win the National Junior Synchronized Swimming Duet Championship when Diann was 16 and Charlotte was 17. It was a phenomenal victory. They came out of nowhere. No one knew who these two were, and the powerhouses had their great duet teams from Santa Clara Aquamaids and the San Francisco Marionettes. And Diann and Charlotte stunned the synchronized swimming world. And then they continued to practice and swim at the Washington Athletic Club. And then the three of them went down to Santa Clara to join the Santa Clara Aquamaids and helped to make the Santa Clara Aquamaids the world champions. And Diann and Charlotte were, well, they would have won gold medals that year, and the team would have won gold medal if it had been in the Olympics, but it wasn't. And so my sisters came back after that incredible year in Santa Clara, where they traveled the world. They were dedicated to 4 to 6 hours of practice a day. They were prime athletes. While they were at the Washington Athletic Club, a couple hours a day was pretty common throughout much of the year. So they had kept their athleticism going right on through, and more than I had, because I had become kind of lost in, I guess I just wasn't excelling in athletics enough to be able to take it any further. And here were Gail and Diann taking it further. You know, out of that, they began coaching. They have taken, in particular, Charlotte Jennings, and then she was married, Davis, or named Charlotte Jennings Davis, and Gail and Diann taught the first Olympic champions, Tracy Ruiz and Candy Costi. But it was Charlotte who really was their coaches and brought them to the Olympic Games, and they became the Olympic champions. And the whole sport has been uplifted by Charlotte. Charlotte has become the greatest coach and spokesperson for Synchronized Swimming. She was elected into the International Swimming Hall of Fame for her lifetime of work. My sisters, Gail, Diann, and Charlotte, are to be honored for how they helped evolve the sport of synchronized swimming. And now I'll move on to my story.